I am not with Jessie today in the studio, but I will be here live with you guys. So if you have questions or comments while Jessie is crafting and teaching all of you, go ahead and put them in your chat and I'll be able to answer them via the chat or relay them to Jessie and she can answer them for you. So we love hearing all your comments and questions. And at the end of this, we are going to pick a winner from the comments, and you will win $50 worth of plaid product. So that's always exciting and a great way to end the week. So we are excited to do that. Jessie is going to be walking us through Mod Podge Ultra. So this is our second class with Mod Podge Ultra. It is an amazing new product at Michaels. Available on michaels.com and in the store, so you can either order it, get it shipped right to your house, or do curbside or delivery in some areas. Yeah. So we're gonna get started. So thanks, Jessie, and I will. I'll keep you posted if we have questions or we, need you to go over something again with us.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So, like you said, in case you haven't taken one of our classes, my name is Jessie. And this is our new-ish product. It's new to Michaels, called Mod Podge Ultra. So if you're familiar with Mod Podge, it's been around forever. I'm sure you are. It's America's favorite decoupage medium. And this is the new-ish, like I said, spray version. So if you've ever wished that you had a spray formula of your Mod Podge, now there is one. So get excited because it's amazing and it can do so many things. So I'm going to show you a few projects here that we made with Mod Podge Ultra, just to give you guys kind of an intro in case it's your first time hearing about it. So let's get started. So here is a mobile that we made with Mod Podge. And we use the Mod Podge to stiffen these pieces of yarn. So here, are we in the front view still? Okay, here. We use it to stiffen these pieces of yarns. This is yarn wrapped in a coil. And then we Mod Podge Ultra'd it onto these strings to make this beautiful mobile. So you can see the yarn's super stiff, it's not going anywhere. So that's one use for Mod Podge Ultra. It also works as an excellent adhesive. So not only can you stiffen materials like yarn and fabric with it, you can see this here is stiffened with it, but also we glued this fabric onto the pot using Mod Podge Ultra. So it's awesome for adhesion as well. Here's another project I'll show you that we adhered these shells with. So we painted this beautiful painting and then we sprayed it with Mod Podge Ultra because it's an awesome sealer. So if you're an acrylic painter, I highly recommend this product for sealing your painting because you can see we have gloss on here and it makes the colors really vibrant and really brilliant. And then, you can't see it so well on camera, but we glued down some sand, and the best part is that it seals the sand onto the surface. So we sprayed the Mod Podge Ultra, we sprinkled the sand, and it's not coming off on my hand at all. It is totally sealed onto that surface. So if you're like me, I'm thinking glitter. It's perfect for glitter because it will be so non-messy because your glitter won't be flaking off forever. Also, one of my favorite parts about this painting is that all of these seashells and pieces of driftwood and starfish are glued on using this Mod Podge Ultra spray. So we sprayed it on. We laid it flat, we sprayed it on, we sat our pieces on top of it, and we let it dry overnight, and then we came back the next day, and it was completely adhered onto this canvas. So it's super awesome at adhering things. Here's another one we did that we adhered. So this is another one. So it's multi-surface, and it's great for indoors and outdoors. So this is just a piece of metal. It's a metal frame that we got at the craft store. And this is all paper that we have Mod Podged onto the metal. We've also got some buttons on here. We've got some glass domes on here. And we sealed it in, I think this is gloss. We sealed it in gloss. And this is good for the outdoors. So you can hang this outside and it will stay just how it is. It won't make the paper buckle. It'll be completely sealed. So make sure you have a nice heavy coat on there. And this is outdoor safe, which is another great use for it.
Jessie, somebody had a question. What are the two different colors, the orange and the yellow labels?
Yeah, so the orange is our gloss formula, and then the yellow is our matte formula. So we've got a matte and a gloss, which is great because, of course, you like to pick the sheen of it. You don't want to have to put another top coat on top and change the sheen. So you can choose what sheen you want. That's where the different colors are.
And they also come in a 4-ounce and an 8-ounce bottle, which is great.
Yeah, I've only got the 8-ounce here, but it also comes in a little bit of a smaller bottle. So if you're doing a tiny project and you just need a little bit, that's a really great option. So
buy the big one. You'll want the big one.
Yeah, you're gonna regret not getting the 8-ounce. She's right. So here's another project we did. It's another little beach themed project. So what we did is we took Mod Podge and sand, or Mod Podge Ultra and sand, we mix it together and it makes sort of like a paste. So we put the paste here on this frame. You can see it's sort of rough. And then we embedded the seashells in it. So since the Mod Podge Ultra is an adhesive, when it's with the sand, anything that you stick inside of it will stay there forever. So you can see these are not budging. These are basically cemented in. So it's awesome for a project like this for embedding. And again, it's no mess. The sand is not going anywhere. You're not gonna have it, you know, sprinkling all over your home if you're using it for home decor. So make sure that you use it for that too. What else, Kira? So it is completely waterproof. Here's another, I'm just like so excited about my Podge Ultra. There's a million things you can do. So here's a coaster. You can see it's completely non-tacky. And you could put your glass on top of it and it won't make rings. Your glass won't stick to it. It won't rehydrate the Mod Podge. It'll stay completely tack-free and it's completely water safe. So that's another amazing use for coasters. You can just spray, we decoupaged the paper on with Mod Podge Ultra. We sprayed it, put the paper, sprayed it again, and it's perfectly smooth.
Yes, and I think I was just putting in the chat that there's no bubbles or brush strokes. That's what's really great about this product.
Exactly. So people have been asking for years and years, lovers of Mod Podge have been wanting a spray because they don't want the brush strokes. So this is completely brush stroke free. You don't have to, you know, finagle it to get the brush strokes out. Of course, there's no brush strokes because you're spraying it. So it levels itself. You just do a nice light mist, which I'm going to show you how to use it, of course, in a minute. And it just completely self-levels and it's nice and smooth and it's always crystal clear. So it's never cloudy or anything like that. It's amazing.
Yep. People have questions about rocks. So you can use it to seal the rocks.
Yeah, great idea. So like you saw this outdoor piece we had here, it's excellent for sealing rocks. So if you're a big rock painter, which I know is still super hot, everybody loves to paint rocks. We're actually doing a live stream next week, Kira, where Kira's going to be painting some rocks. And you can seal your acrylic paint with Mod Podge Ultra and they'll be totally safe for outside. The rain won't hurt them, the sunshine won't hurt them. It'll completely protect your paint outside, which is really exciting. So you don't have to worry about, you know, painting some sort of icky, like smelly varnish on it, something that's really toxic. This is completely water-based, it's completely non-toxic, and you can use it to seal all of your beautiful projects.
Yeah. And photos. So people were asking, can you use this to protect your paintings or your photos, your artwork?
Yes. So like I said, it works amazingly on acrylic paint. It really brings the colors out and has a nice smooth finish. On photos, it will work perfectly for decoupaging photos or sealing photos, but I do recommend that you use a laser printer. It's a very thin formula of Mod Podge, and that's how it's able to spray. So I'm not sure it'd be so great on the inkjet. I'd be afraid that it would run, but it's perfect for laser prints. We've done it a million times here. So yeah, if you have laser printed photos, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one more product.
I think it's outside. You want to spray your entire project if you're going to put it outside. So I'm just trying to keep up with the questions. These are all great questions. And again, this product, like we can talk for hours about it. And it's like almost too much to show you. Last week we had so much stuff and it was like everything we could do with it.
What are you even making? There's so many things there. We were like, you can make anything. Okay.
Yep. And if you do not have Mod Podge, with you right now, you can always watch these videos on michaels.com after. So you can grab your Mod Podge Ultra after and then go back and watch this on replay after the fact. So today you could just be inspired by us and check out all the great things that the product does.
Yeah. So here's another cool little project I wanted to show you guys. These are some Easter eggs that, of course, it's not anywhere near Easter, but some Easter eggs we made with our Mod Podge Ultra. So we just blew up some balloons. And we sprayed them with Mod Podge Ultra, and we wrapped the string around, and we continued spraying it as we wrapped until we had the whole balloon wrapped. And then since the balloon is made of latex, it doesn't stick to the Mod Podge Ultra, which is great. So that's a good reason to have a silicone mat or wax paper underneath it so it doesn't stick when you're doing your project, which again, we'll get to when we start crafting. But these are amazing. You can see how stiff they are. They're completely stiff. They're not gonna collapse or anything. That's a really fun way to stiffen fabric and yarn. Okay, so you think we are ready to start crafting, Kira?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think that's good.
So today, as you guys know, because you signed up for the class, we're going to be making this really cute little felt cactus here. And you can see we talked about a stiffening fabric. So these are completely stiff, and we use, of course, Mod Podge Ultra. On this project, we also stiffened this fabric. So this is just like little flowers that we cut out of fabric, and then we sprayed them with Mod Podge Ultra, and we adhered them to this base. And you can see it doesn't fray or anything. There's no strings hanging off of it because we sealed it with the Mod Podge Ultra.
Jessie,
So,
to interrupt you real quick, we have a lot of questions about those yarn balls again.
Okay. These are really cool ones, so I'm not surprised. So what's the questions?
They just want to know how do you get the balloon out, those would be great to make. I mean, they're just really excited. So maybe just go through how you do them, and we should have had one blown up and pop the balloon.
I know, we should have. Okay. Well, maybe we can do that for another class. So what I did is I took a balloon, just a regular party balloon. I blew it up until, and not totally full, obviously, because that would be huge. I just blew it up a little bit. I inflated it slightly. And then you spray the balloon and you start wrapping the Ultra, and you continue to spray the yarn as you're wrapping it. So you want to make sure the yarn is completely saturated on your balloon. So anywhere where there's not Mod Podge Ultra will continue to be soft yarn. So you want all the yarn to be hard so it holds its shape. So you want it completely saturated. You want to just keep spraying it and spraying it. So you leave it overnight. I kind of hung mine. I had a little drying rack, and where the mouthpiece of the balloon was, I hung it with like a little clothespin, and I let it dry overnight so any excess could drip off. I had some paper beneath, of course. And then I came back the next day, and you just take a pin and you pop the balloon, and you're able to just, if you leave, you know, enough space, you're able to just pull it right out of there. You can pull it right through where the strings are. And you have this completely hardened, stiffened shape. So you can do all kinds of stuff with this. We made Easter eggs, but these are great for any holiday projects. Anytime you need something round like this, even for like beautiful home decor pieces, you could use like twine or some sort of like hemp material, and they'd be great for like a little basket in your home. This is a really, really fun project to do.
Yep, somebody said pumpkins. That's a great idea. You could turn them into pumpkins, metallic, you know, Christmas. You can make ornaments. They'd be beautiful.
We've done that too. That's really fun. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really fun project. So, any more questions, Kira, before we get started?
No, I think that's good. Sorry to interrupt. People were just really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm glad. All right, so let's get started with our felt cactus. So as you can see here, I have my pieces of felt here. It's just a couple of green pieces of felt. So any color you want to use for your cactus is totally fine. You can make a purple cactus for all, you know, whatever you want to do is totally good. But we have 2 pieces of green here. So I'm going to grab some wax paper, or if you've got a silicone mat, or some just paper beneath it that you don't mind getting messy, that's fine too. But you want to make sure, actually no, it needs to be wax paper. Sorry, let me back up a little. It needs to be like wax paper or parchment paper, or silicone mat, so that your felt doesn't stick to it once we add the Mod Podge Ultra. So go ahead and grab some of that now. And I'm gonna grab 2 sheets actually, 1 for each. So just cut it to the size that whatever's manageable for you. You can have a giant piece, you're making a giant cactus, but of course you'll need more space for that. So you can use gloss or matte. When you're doing it on felt, since it's such a matte material already, the gloss probably isn't gonna make it super glossy. So we'll just go ahead and stick with the matte for today. Excuse me. So what you wanna do is you wanna shake your Mod Podge Ultra really well. So we're gonna shake it up. And it doesn't have air bubbles. Don't worry about that. A lot of times you don't want to shake paint and things like that because you're worried about air bubbles, but you don't have to worry about that because when it goes through the nozzle, the air bubbles will disappear. So what you want to do first is prime your pump. And this is a really important part because you want to get any sort of like sputter out of the nozzle the first time you're using it for your project. So the way we do that is you just spray it on, you know, a little scrap napkin or spray it into your trash can. You just want to prime the pump, and I can see that I have a really great even spray going. So we're good to go with our project. So now I'm going to stay about 6 to 8 inches from my felt, and you're just going to spray it completely evenly. And you want to get a nice full coverage of Mod Podge Ultra. So we want it to be pretty saturated. So I'm going to spray the whole front, and you can see it's like a nice light mist, and it doesn't smell like anything. It just smells like Mod Podge, really. It's not, like I said, it's non-toxic, it's water-based. So you can do it inside, you can do it right in your kitchen, and it's completely safe. And then I'm going to flip it over to, I can touch it again because it's non-toxic. And I'm going to spray the back of it because, like I said, I want it to be completely saturated. So you want to do this for a couple pieces of felt for this particular cactus that we're making today. And I'm going to do my second one too, just because I have a feeling you guys are probably doing a couple pieces. So we want to take some time up.
And you're not going to ruin the felt or fabric when you're stiffening it, so it can get wet. Somebody was concerned. It just, the more you put on, the longer it takes to dry, to be honest, but it's not going to ruin it.
But the more you put on, the stiffer it's going to be. So I'll show you in a second. I have a little step out here because I let some dry overnight so that I could continue with my project right now. And you guys, of course, wouldn't have to wait because it does need to dry overnight. It does take a little while to dry, but it's completely worth it. On the bottom, I think it says it takes, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think on the bottle it says it takes 4 to 24 hours to dry. So obviously, if you're like doing a really light coat on a painting, it'll be dry in just a couple of hours, dry to the touch. But if you're saturating something in Mod Podge Ultra, like we're doing here, that's when you're going to want to wait 24 hours. Or if you're adhering something that's kind of heavy, like a button, you know, a 3D object, something flat, you're going to want to give it the 24 hours to make sure that it's really adhered.
And that's really important also when you adhere something that's heavy, like Jessie showed the seashells in the back or sand, you really need it to lay flat to dry. It's not something that you could do vertical application. It's not going to be sticky like hot glue right away. Like you're going to think this is never going to work. You have to let it dry, and then it will stick.
Because it's almost water thin. So I hope you're not thinking this doesn't look anything like Mod Podge, because Mod Podge, of course, is thick and it's sort of gluey. And this is very thin, of course, so it can go through the nozzle, but it still will be just as sticky once it dries. It still will have the same adhesion, better adhesion really than just the regular decoupage medium. So again, you want to make sure you have it really saturated. Sometimes if I've got a lot of Mod Podge Ultra in my hands, I'll even pour a little bit in a bowl or like in a Ziploc bag, and I'll completely saturating my fabric. And then I'll pour the rest of that back into my spray bottle. If I'm just feeling kind of lazy and I don't want to spray the whole thing, that's a great way. Just completely submerge it and then pour the excess from your bowl back into your squirt bottle and you're good to go. So again, we just want to make sure that it's totally wet, because like I said, the more that's on there, the stiffer it will be tomorrow when you come back to your felt pieces. Okay, so we're going to leave these here overnight to dry. I'm going to put them behind me. And so here's some that we did yesterday, like I said, and you're going to be amazed when I start smacking these together and you can hear them. Can you hear how stiff they are? We did the same thing yesterday, and they're completely stiff. You can see this is real wool felt. I think I see some people asking that. This is not synthetic. We have some synthetic felt here, which also is super stiff, but this is real wool felt. And it's completely stiff. It didn't mess up the felt at all. So in case you're wondering about that, it didn't shrink it or warp it really. It's maybe a little bit bumpy, but for our project, it's going to be perfectly fine. So you can see, super stiff. So tomorrow, when all of your stuff is dry, or if you've done it in advance like me, we're going to draw a pattern on it. So I always like to make up my cactus designs. So of course, there's tons of different kinds of cactus. There's the Cigaro or whatever it's called, Cigaro. There's these sort of, whatchamacallit, prickly pears. I couldn't think of the word. There's prickly pears. There's all kinds of cactuses. There's succulents you can make. So your imagination can just run wild with what kind of cactus you want. You can also go online and Google succulent patterns, and there's tons of amazing patterns online that you can print out and trace. And we do that all the time too, because there's so much great art online too. You know, you could buy it on Etsy, or you can just find it for free. So I'm going to make up mine today. I'm just going to make it really simple. I'm going to do one of those like pear-shaped cactuses, and I'm just going to draw it with a pencil. So if you've got like a really dark green felt at home, you want to grab a piece of chalk or something, but I can see mine, so I can see the pencil. I'm going to draw a really simple shape just to kind of show you guys the technique. So I'm going to do 2 pieces that are the same shape. So I've got these 2 here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make them the exact same shape. You're going to need 2 pieces for what we're doing here. So take your time. You can, like I said, you can do like a prickly pear. You can do a really big cactus. We've got some giant pieces of felt here that we stiffened. You can see they're humongous, and it's still really stiff. So you can make like a really tall cactus for your house, which is super cute. Felt flowers, you can stiffen felt flowers like we've got here. So these are really great if you're into felt art and you made these felt flowers. You can stiffen these after even. you can just spray them down, get them nice and saturated, and they'll be totally stiff. So these are soft right now because I might stiffen them later for you guys. But that's just another way to use these, another application for Mod Podge Ultra on felt. Okay, so back to our pattern. So we've got the pattern drawn. Again, I'm just doing a really simple little like ovally shaped cactus. And then I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm just gonna cut them out. So it's stiff, but it's not so stiff that you can't cut it with scissors. And you may be wondering if you wanted to cut your felt beforehand, you absolutely could. So you could cut it into your cactus shapes and then stiffen it if you didn't want that, if you wanted to keep the scraps and didn't want it to be stiff, if you are like a real like intense felter, because I always like to keep my felt scraps because I'm always making felt flowers. So if you wanted to keep these soft to turn into leaves later or whatever, you can just cut out your cactus beforehand and then stiffen them. It's totally up to you. Either way works fine. But you can see it's not super hard to stiffen or to cut once it's stiffened. I might recommend, I'm using fabric scissors here, but this probably isn't the best idea. Once it's stiff, you probably don't want to use your fabric scissors. You're probably better off using just your regular craft scissors.
Ooh, that's a good tip. I get yelled at for using the fabric scissors all the time in the studio.
Here's always, every time we turn around, she's cutting paper with fabric scissors. Yeah, so like I said, it's a little bit stiff with the Mod Podge in the fibers of the felt. You probably don't want to use your fabric scissors. So again, I'm cutting out two of this. It's the same shape that I just drew from my imagination. Feel free to follow my design, or I encourage you to come up with your own cactus design. You can see how stiff these are. Like, they're so stiff. I love this project. I'm gonna save these for later. Why not? We make some leaves or something with them. So now I've got my two shapes that are just about the same. I'm going to cut halfway up the bottom of one, and I'm going to cut halfway down from the top on the other. So we're going to fit them together like a puzzle. So here, I already have them drawn on here. So I drew a line going halfway up and then a line going about halfway down. So I'm going to cut that out, just a little line. And this one I'm going to cut down from the top. And then these are going to fit together like a little puzzle. See how cute that is? Oops. So it's like a little puzzle now. It's kind of like those like laser cut wood shapes and stuff. Here, I'm going to make my, make it a little wider so it fits better. I'm just going to cut like a little notch. See how I cut that little notch out there? I just cut like two really thin lines next to each other. So now it fits really well. So now you have a nice felt cactus. So this technique will work. You can see here, it's 3D now, just like ours here. This will work with any shape. So you can do like this really intense prickly pear pattern, or you can do something really simple like this. You can take embroidery floss and you can stiffen it and make little prickly thorns on your cactus if you want. We've done that before actually on a painting. We did a cactus painting, and then we Mod Podge Ultra little pieces of embroidery floss onto it, and it looked like little thorns popping out of the painting. It was really fun. So that's another great way to decorate your little cactus that you've just made. Should we do another style of cactus, Kira?
Yeah.
We got time?
Everyone's excited. Somebody's going to make a giant one to make their husband crazy. Just funny. Everyone's going to try. Someone had a great idea. You could Mod Podge Ultra or glue toothpicks to the cactus to make it look like thorns. That's a great idea.
You could totally. So if you were going to do that, I love that idea. Before you, adhere it together in any way, you can leave these to dry overnight and then lay your toothpicks around the edges and let them dry flat overnight. And Mod Podge Ultra will absolutely adhere the toothpicks to the felt. So that's an awesome idea. Okay, so we've got this one. Let's do a little bit of a prickly pear one. So again, we'll just do our little shape. I'm just, like I said, doing it from my imagination.
Yeah, and somebody said you could also add little felt flowers to the cactus for pops of color, which is a great idea. Or teeny little pom-poms. There you go.
I love the pom-pom idea. We've got tiny little felt flowers here that we can add to our cactus too. I love, love, love that idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
really. Yeah, I would almost take your cactus apart, lay your pieces flat, and put your 3D pieces on, like you said. Then once it dries, put it back together.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it will adhere that, which is so crazy to me. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out.
Oh, everybody's asking about the felt flowers now. I don't know if we have any felt there.
Yeah.
That would be another great class.
We should do a whole Mod Podge Ultra felt flowers class. I love that. I love
Yeah, somebody suggested that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Let's do it. Why not? We can make like felt flower wreaths or something using Mod Podge Ultra.
Yep, I love that.
Because they'll just last much longer. Like they'll obviously be stiff just because that's how, you know, that's what it's used for. They won't be soft anymore, but it'll be really durable. So if you make like some sort of seasonal wreath or something with felt, you don't have to worry so much about storage, about keeping it like really nice, because it'll be super durable. It'll be really hard for it to get torn or broken or for it to get crushed or anything like that. It'll just be way sturdier. Kind of a funky cactus, but it works. So I'm gonna do the other little piece. Here, I can even trace it since I've already cut it out to make sure that they match pretty well.
And some people are asking for the supply list to put in the chat. So I am just opening it for you guys, and I'm going to put it in there in case you want to go ahead and grab these supplies again on michaels.com or in the store at Michaels. This is all available.
Awesome. I would recommend chalk because I'm having trouble seeing my pencil lines at home. So if you've got dark felt like me, yeah, go ahead and grab a piece of chalk. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. I'm kind of guessing at this point.
Yeah. Or a light colored pencil.
Yeah, light colored pencil, that might work. That's a good idea. Okay, but if you've got a lot of felt at home, my guess is that you probably have like fabric chalk at home too. All right, so now we've got two little pieces here and we're gonna fit these together the exact same way. This one up the center, and then we'll cut this one down the top straight so they fit nice and even. So cute. So now I've got this cute little guy too. So you can see there's like a million different shapes of cactuses that you can do. The possibilities are endless when you're stiffening felt with Mod Podge Ultra. So in case you're wondering, what do I do with this cactus shape that I made? I'm going to show you how you can put it into a pot for a finished project. So first, all I've got here is, here, I'll take it apart so you can see it. I've got my pot here that we painted, and I can show you that too after we put it together. And we just stiffened yarn onto the pot, which is another really fun technique. You spray it and you put the yarn, and then you keep spraying until it's saturated and it dries right onto the pot. And then I've just got a styrofoam ball in the middle to hold it in shape. I just cut it so that it fits inside. And then I just have this thin foam dowel that I just stuck into the center, and that's what's gonna hold our cactus upright. So to cover up all this messiness, all we did is we cut a piece of felt to just about the size of, in the overhead or in the front, just about the size of our pot. And I cut a little hole out of the center, you can see. So it fits perfectly on top just to kind of hide that styrofoam fall so it looks a little bit neater. And you could totally Mod Podge Ultra that down too. So let's do that actually. You can just
People are loving the pot.
Okay, good. We can work on that too. So you just spray inside there so you can spray directly onto the styrofoam. And then you just put that on there and that will dry overnight and it will be totally adhered to that styrofoam. You won't have to worry about it falling out. So if you wanted to, you could take this dowel and you could Mod Podge Ultra it onto your cactus and leave it overnight. And so it would be adhered to that. But just for time's sake, I'm just going to put a piece of hot glue on it because I don't want to have to make you guys wait overnight for our cactus to be done. So you can just see I'm just going to put a little squirt of hot glue there. But again, you could absolutely use Mod Podge Ultra for this part. And then you just set it on. Here, I'll show you what I did. Just right on the back there. And then you could just dab it with some green paint or something. To
or another piece of felt even.
Another felt strip. That's an awesome idea. Put a piece of felt there. It's totally up to you. But yeah, so we have our little cactus here. Like I said, the varieties are just completely endless. And we have it in this cute little pot, so you can make this in any size. You can make little mini cactuses, little mini succulents, or big cactuses for home decor to bug your husband, like that one person said, which I love. Another quick tip too is make sure whenever you're not using your Mod Podge Ultra, you put the cap on because you don't want the Mod Podge Ultra to dry in the pump because that's just going to be a pain in the butt to try to unclog it. So just make sure that I'm really bad. I'm always losing caps places. I'm always just like opening things and like letting them roll all over the place. So you want to make sure you hang on to it and make sure you're replacing your cap whenever you're done, because that is really important. So you guys want to see putting some yarn on this pot? Yeah? What do you think?
Yeah, everybody's loving it.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna cut a couple pieces of yarn. I've just got a couple colors here in front of me. I've got some cute yellow and pink yarn.
Yeah, I love those colors.
Oh, these are so fun. And I'm gonna grab some more wax paper. So again, if you've got a silicone mat at home, that works just fine, but I always like using wax paper just because it's a quick cleanup. Just to protect my work surface. This is just paper, so it'd be fine, but it's just easier. So now I've got this on here. You want to lay your pot on its side, because of course you need to make sure that it dries upright. So here, I'll show you. We're going to spray it on. Just a nice even coat to start. And then you just start laying your yarn in some sort of pattern. So you could do like swirls, or this one's kind of like a crazy pattern. It's totally up to you. And you want to continue to spray it as you go, and that's how you get it to stay down. Once your yarn gets saturated, that's when it starts to not move on you. When it's dry, it wants to just move all over the place because it's so light. So you kind of need to weigh it down with that moisture of the Mod Podge Ultra, and that's when you can see it starts to hold its shape. You don't have to worry about it slipping and sliding as you're making your pattern.
And that's something I love though about the Mod Podge Ultra, that it gives you some time to play and move things around, you know. So if you're indecisive or you put it down, you're like, I don't like that. Sometimes with regular Mod Podge, once you stick it down, especially with paper, it is down for good and it's permanent. Mod Podge Ultra, you can pick it up and it's movable until it starts to dry.
Even with paper you can. So like that coaster we showed you guys, I don't want this to roll away. This coaster we showed you guys, it's just a square piece of paper, and we sprayed the coaster and put the paper on, and we could peel it back up, we could slide it around. It's only until it dries for a couple of hours, it's really adhered on there. So like Kira said, that's another great benefit is it's not straight away. It's not, you can't mess up your project.
Right. And it's not sticky, like when it gets on your fingers, so it's not toxic, no odor, but your hands aren't gonna stick, so you can touch felt and touch fabric and it's not gonna stick to it.
Yeah, it's totally safe, so you don't have to worry about getting it on your hands. And when you're done, if you have made a bit of a mess, just clean it up with warm water and soap. It's easier while it's wet, of course, just like everything, but just wash your hands with soap and water and it'll come right off. So you can see here how easy that was. We just Mod Podge it right on there. And you probably could get it to stand up straight if you were feeling impatient and want to do the whole pot and let it dry overnight. You probably could. If you have it really saturated, make sure that the yarn's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, we have this cool funky pattern. It's kind of dripping because I had it on its side, but yeah, that's our little pot. Should we stiffen some flowers, Kira?
Yeah, that's great.
So I love the idea that someone said to stiffen or to attach flowers for color, because I think that'd be so cute to do on this pot, on this cactus, like a little pink flower or something to add a pop of color. So like I said, these flowers are just little felt flowers that we have in the studio. Of course, here at Plaid, we have tons of little craft pieces all over the place because we're always crafting all day, every day. So I just have these little felt flowers that are just a little pattern we found online, and you just stiffen them the same way. So they're really soft now. You can stiffen them like this. And if you wanted to adhere it to your cactus, so here, let's say we were going to adhere it to this guy, we just spray both pieces. So this one's already stiff, of course, but you can continue to spray it. It won't hurt it. And you just set it on there overnight, and it's not going to go anywhere. You want to make sure it's really saturated. That is important. If you have a really light coat, you're going to come back tomorrow, and he's not going to be stuck on there. So I don't want you to be disappointed. Make sure that you can kind of see I'm like dipping it in the pool of Mod Podge Ultra. You want to make sure it's really saturated. But when we come back tomorrow, after we've adhered these on here, or even a couple hours from now, they're really going to be stuck on there. So that's why it's amazing, because we stiffened it with this Mod Podge Ultra, and we're going to adhere our flowers with it.
Yeah. And somebody made a comment about fraying or unraveling. So this is great for the end of string or yarn crafts that you're doing. You could just spray the end, and it's going to seal it so it doesn't come unraveled or fray. So that's also a great usage.
I love that idea. Yeah, it absolutely won't. You saw how stiff it was, so it absolutely is not going to go anywhere once you spray it. It's completely stiffened, so it won't unravel ever again. So yeah, any more questions, Kira?
No, I've just been answering some people. Let's see. Oh, somebody was asking about paint pouring, and separate to this, but you can use Ultra to pour with.
Yes. Should we do that right now? Do we have time?
Yeah, if you have stuff. What do you have up your sleeve there? What do you got?
You know we always have stuff here at Podge Studio. There are always things to do all the things. Dylan's grabbing me a couple things right now. So yeah, I'll show you guys how you can use it as a pouring medium too. So it's just another use for Mod Podge Ultra. Dylan's running around here. Thanks, Dylan. But yeah. So just while Dylan's doing that, let me tell you another little thing that I forgot to mention. You can see like there's more details on this. You can just take any of our paints. So you can take green or brown, and you can use the paint to make little highlights. You can paint details onto your stiffened felt. To make it look a little more realistic, a little more boho. So you can see all we did here is we just took a dry brush and some brown paint, and we just went around the edges and just sort of buffed it on to give it a little bit more texture and a little bit more detail. So that's another great idea to do for your cactus. Ooh, it's really heavy. Thank you.
Everybody's excited. They're like, this is becoming like the ultimate crafting. Like you guys just pulling it up, bringing it on.
What do you want to see us craft now?
On demand, you guys.
Exactly. Okay, here we are. Supplies right here, ready to go. I do not have any gloves though, so it's about to get really messy, but that's okay. So I've got my pan here to catch my extra paint. I've got a little canvas board here to pour on. And then I've got a really pretty variety of colors here that Dylan just got for me. I've got some disposable cups and some disposable spoons. And we are going to pour with Mod Podge Ultra. So let's just do a few colors. We'll do 3 colors maybe.
Everyone's so excited. I love this just happened.
Yay. So this one is Calypso Sky, in case you're wondering. And this is just regular acrylic paint. This is our full card acrylic. So I'm going to put a good bit in there. I'll show you guys how much I have in there just to give you an idea. So probably, I don't know, a couple tablespoons. I know some people are good at eyeballing that sort of measurement, but I just want to make sure you guys, I'm not, so I want to make sure you guys have a good visual so you know how much I'm using at home. Put a little more. And then maybe we'll do some baby pink, which is a light pink color. And I'm just going to do the same amount of each color. Thanks, Dylan.
And you could use some, yeah, you could use the matte or the glass for this. Either one will work as a pouring medium.
Right, so keep in mind what the finish of your paint is. So our full coat acrylic paint comes in matte. So if you want to make it a little glossier, if we mix them together, the matte and the gloss will probably make like a satin finish when we're done. But then of course you can always spray it to get whatever finish you want afterwards. And it'll work for either formula. Yeah. Move these aside. So now I could spend like all day spraying into these cups, but of course that's kind of silly. So it's really easy to just unscrew the top of your Mod Podge Ultra, and you can pour it easily. Like I said, if you're doing the stiffening thing where you pour it into a bowl and then you can pour the excess back. Of course, we're not going to pour the excess back now because we're mixing with paint, but I'm doing about a 1-to-1 ratio. So I don't know if you guys can see. You can just sort of eyeballing it in my cup. I have probably ½ an inch of paint in there, and then I did another ½ an inch with my Mod Podge Ultra. So I'm doing the same for each one of these. I'm just eyeballing it, doing a 1-to-1 ratio. You want to make sure you screw your lid back on. You don't want to leave your Mod Podge Ultra open. And then we're going to make sure we stir these really well. So you want to make sure they're completely combined. You don't want them to be clumpy at all. So you want to just take a minute and stir. You don't want to stir it like super duper fast because we always want to try to avoid bubbles, but the bubbles really will pop themselves. You don't have to worry about it all that much. Don't be like, if you do see bubbles, don't like freak out or anything. It'll be fine. Just to make sure. So the white you can't really see. We've got white there, but you can see the blue. So we'll know that it's completely combined when it goes back to that original blue color that we poured, because it won't affect the color at all. It won't make it lighter. So you can see it's getting brighter. It's going back to that color we poured. So that's how we know we're getting close and it's almost completely combined. If it was still a little pale, then we know that the Mod Podge Ultra isn't all the way mixed yet.
And then people are asking, I'm typing and answering, but it will not change the color of your paint. So just like our folk art pouring medium that we've done 6 or 7 classes with, it acts the same way. So it takes your acrylic paint and it changes the consistency of the paint, but it doesn't alter the color. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a little more paint in here because I think I did a little too much of my ultra, but that's okay. It just goes to show you it's not an exact science. It just was feeling a little bit thin. You want it to feel kind of painty. Of course, it's gonna be thinner than the paint itself, but because we want it to pour, we want it to flow, but you don't want it to feel as thin as the Mod Podge Ultra itself, of course. You want it to be thicker than that. So here, I'll show you the consistency when I get a good one. I don't want to confuse you guys, but I was feeling it as I was mixing it. It's a little bit thin, so I just added a little more paint, super easy to fix. I'm gonna stir it up, make sure it's all completely combined. Usually for the pouring classes, Kira has them pre-mixed, so you don't have to stand here and watch us mix it, but we're crafting on the fly. Thanks, Dylan.
About a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, and maybe a little more paint than that. You kind of get a hang of it as you go. You kind of can see what the consistency needs to be like. So you start with a little bit and you add a little more. It's a little thick, you add a little more Mod Podge Ultra. If it's feeling a little thin, you add a little more paint. So you kind of get a feel for what the consistency should be. And if you're really, if you're like a paint pourer and you paint pour all the time, then it should feel how you think it should feel. You should know the consistency. It's almost sort of syrupy. Can we get a front view maybe? So you can see how that like creates a line like that. Here, you can see that line. That's the right consistency. It's not too drippy. It creates that sort of nice syrupy flow. That's how you know that it's a perfect consistency for paint pouring. And you do want to make sure each one of them are the same consistency. You don't want one to be thicker than the other because that's when you're going to run into some problems. Because if one flows better than the other and one of them is a little bit thicker, it could clump up on your canvas and you're not going to get as nice of a pour.
Oh my God, Elena just said, next time someone breaks a bone here, I'm using Mod Podge Ultra. Like, that just made my day. Because, seriously, you probably could if you let it dry for 24 hours. It would work.
You probably could fix the bone, but you could definitely make the cast with it. That's for sure. You stiffen that bandage and it's not going anywhere.
That's awesome.
Okay, so like I said, you can see how nice, we got a nice syrupy consistency. That's exactly how we want it. So it's perfect. And I've got, like I said, I've got my canvas board and I just got a pan here to collect the excess paint and we just start pouring. This is gonna be a clean pour, what they call like a straight pour. So some people like to pour it all in one cup and then dump it, but I don't know, I always like to do straight pours. Oh, thanks, Dylan. Dylan is
and also the Mod Podge Ultra is great to seal. Somebody had a question. You can use this to seal your artwork. So seal your acrylic paintings or seal your paint pours. This is a great way to seal it. It just set in Michael's. So when we were doing our paint pouring classes, we were showing the traditional Mod Podge and the aerosol, but Mod Podge Ultra is a great, we couldn't show it yet to you guys. So this is a great thing to seal your paint pour projects with.
Here, let me move. I saw somebody say, can I move it up a little? Make sure. Yeah. View. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start pouring now. Dylan gave me, this is such a great idea. We do this all the time and we get paint all over all our bottles. This is just a bottle of Mod Podge fabric that we have here. And we use it to lift our surface up off the bottom so it has room for the paint to run off. So we are always concocting different ways of crafting here. So I'm just going to pour it on. You can pour it wherever you want, of course. If you just want pink and a little bit of pink, just put a little. If you want a lot of pink, put a lot. I'm gonna pour my white. You can see I'm not being super careful about it because that's sort of the beauty of pouring is you never know what you're gonna get. You could plan it for days and watch a million videos and practice a million times and you just really never can plan exactly what it's gonna look like, which is the fun of it.
It looks really pretty already.
Well, good. So now I'm going to move it around. I'm going to get paint all over my hands, but that's okay because it's all non-toxic. I just wash it right off until all of my canvas is covered. I can see that there's still some raw canvas in some places, and I don't want that. So you move your design around until you're happy with it. I definitely think there's always like a natural stopping point. So there is such thing as moving it around too much. You don't want to make a big mess of it, but there you go. There's a beautiful poured canvas with Mod Podge Ultra as our pouring medium.
Love it. That took a turn, but I love that everybody wanted to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, there is a million things that you can do with this Mod Podge Ultra, which makes it so great. Like, it is one of the best new products we've come out with.
Yeah, I know. So here's another project in case you guys are just hungry for more ideas for the Mod Podge Ultra.
Yeah, we have about 15 minutes, Jessie, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you. Kira did this on our last live stream. She opened up this ornament. This is just a glass ornament that you can buy at Michael's. And she poured in some glitter and she poured in some Mod Podge Ultra and she shook it up. And look how gorgeous this ornament is. You can see it's completely sparkly. It's completely enclosed in there. I hope you can see how it's twinkling, but it's just another great way. The Mod Podge Ultra just completely adhered the glitter to all the walls of the ornament and it's completely mess-free, which is my favorite part. Yeah.
I love those.
What else? There's like so much stuff you can do with it. I'm trying to think. Here's another little mosaic we made. So we showed you this big one here. We showed you how we adhere the buttons and the papers, and we adhere the sand and the seashells. Here is just a cute little trinket dish, and these are glass tiles inside of it. So this is glass tiles, and it is adhered with Mod Podge Ultra. So we sprayed a ton, we painted it, we sprayed a ton of Mod Podge Ultra into it. Almost it was pooled in the bottom. You really want a lot if you're doing something heavy like glass. And then we arranged these beautiful glass tiles on it. And they're not going to go anywhere. They're completely on there. They're completely sturdy. So that's just another great way of using Mod Podge Ultra. Should we show them the birdhouses?
Yeah, I mean, people are loving it. I'm just trying to answer questions as fast as I can. I love it.
I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm scared. I'm too scared. Here, I'll put it right here. I'm just going to set it here for now for safekeeping. All right. So here's a project that we did for a trade show a couple of years ago when Mod Podge Ultra was brand new. And we wanted to show that Mod Podge Ultra was great for decoupaging paper. It was great for adhering 3D objects, and it's great for outdoor use. So we came up with this beautiful frame. So isn't this cute? It's just a little birdhouse frame. And you can see on each birdhouse is covered in scrapbook paper and cardstock. That's what these patterns are. On the roof, we have all these glass tiles that are completely adhered on there. And then we did a nice heavy coat on the whole thing. It's glass, I don't know if you can see that. A heavy coat on the whole thing, so it's outdoor safe. So these birdhouses, we could actually put them outside in a tree, and a bird could live in these because they're completely outdoor safe, and the sun and the rain won't affect them because we have a really nice, heavy, even coat of Mod Podge Ultra on them. So that's just another little fun one. Any other questions, Kira?
Let's see. I'm looking, it's going too fast. Yeah, no, just great questions. I think just everything, everybody's excited to buy Mod Podge Ultra, so everybody buy Mod Podge Ultra. We love that.
Yeah.
Everybody love the birdhouses. It's like we show you guys stuff and then we want to show you how to make it.
I know.
Like a million other classes we can have now.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jessie, thank you.
Yeah,
so people just have questions. How is it different than regular Mod Podge? So do you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, so Mod Podge, the brand of Mod Podge has a million formulas. There's Mod Podge for fabric, there's Mod Podge for the dishwasher, there's Mod Podge for outdoor, there's Mod Podge for decoupaging paper. And this one really does the majority of those things, and it's a spray. You don't have to brush it on, you can spray, it's super easy, and it does most of the things that our other Mod Podge formulas do. So if you like the classic Mod Podge, sometimes it's like a little bit, like for decoupaging, like for example, you can totally use the classic Mod Podge, but this is just our new product. It's got no brush strokes, and it's great as a sealer too. I feel like I just said a million things. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. So Mod Podge, great formulas, a lot of very specific things, but we've got our traditional matte and gloss. Ultra is just an ultimate all-in-one for you. So, and it's
the Ultra Mod Podge.
Right, it's just a different application that can be used. It's multi-surface, which is so great. Now, if you're gonna do something that's dishwasher safe or like washable fabric to fabric, like washable, I would definitely stick with the more traditional Mod Podge formula that's made for that. And this isn't to replace Mod Podge. This is just in addition to, it's a great addition to your craft room.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think that's all we've got for today. We did pouring, we did the felt cactus, we did the stiffened yarn, we sprayed some felt flowers.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, so I have to pick, which I hate this part.
Oh, that's right, drum roll. I sometimes forget. This is Kira's least favorite part. It's everybody else's favorite part. It's Kira's.
Because I want to give everybody everything.
I know.
I'll be like, send it all. We don't need it here. Love it. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Jessie actually will be gone next week, but Kirsten will be here painting a floral landscape on Monday night. So make sure you sign up for that. And then I'll be teaching rock painting on the 4th, which we will also have some Mod Podge Ultra going on there, but a lot of great projects. We're going to be doing little garden, like rocks to mark your garden. So it'll be really fun, good project since rocks are so hot. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Michaels. Don't forget to get your supplies on michaels.com or in the store. And you can watch all these videos on their community classroom page, which has been amazing. And we are so thankful for it. So let me pick here. I do it on my phone so everybody can see. So much pressure on a Friday. I'd rather just craft. Susan Tharp. Are you still watching? Susan. I gotta see. All right. Susan, are you still there? Yeah, she's there. Great.
Yay, congrats.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. So Susan, you want to go to our Plaid Facebook page and direct message us and let us know that you won watching a Michaels class, and then someone will get in touch with you to get you your product. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
It was so much fun. Bye.
Bye, guys.